everything is looking, that image is exactly what we expect. The thermal protection system on Starliner, of course, protecting the spacecraft from the heat of entry. Slowing speed down, now Mach 3.5. Of course, orbital velocity is Mach 25, so that gives you an idea of the velocity change.
Now 17 miles above New Mexico.
Six minutes to landing at White Sands, New Mexico. Starliner remains in its proper attitude, proper course. Speed Mach 1.1, 19,000 meters. Landing recovery team has visual on Starliner as it comes down. (10,000 feet).
It's about 6.2 miles still above New Mexico, but we did just
Forward heat shield deploy.
Confirmation of that forward heat shield deploy. Everything.
Drogues out.
Things will happen fast now. The drogues will start stabilizing the Starliner and slowing it down before the main heat shields deploy after it. Main parachutes, rather, not heat shield.
Vehicle is slowing rapidly. Mach 0.2. And landing site reports the sonic booms as Starliner came over. And we can see on that image the two pilot chutes, the two drogue chutes. Three minutes, 30 seconds from landing. Mains deployed.
The rest of it down to...
And we see three main chutes. Three main chutes. Billowing up, we have three main chutes. We see the red, white, and blue as Starliner descends. 2 minutes, 53 seconds from touchdown. And the rotation handle has deployed. That will level Starliner as it descends. Base heat shield has jettisoned. That is the base heat shield falling away as planned. Airbags are inflating.
And that is the last of the milestones. So now all that's left is for Starliner to float down to the surface of the desert in New Mexico. Everything continuing to look good on this camera that we're getting from the WB-57 cameras, infrared cameras, giving us as good a view as we could expect at nighttime.
2 minutes, 12 seconds to landing. Starliner descending under three good main chutes. All 6 airbags are confirmed to have deployed, and they are fully inflated as Starliner descends to the desert down in White Sands.
Just about 800 meters left to go. It's less than half a mile.
Great imagery there of it descending. Less than 1 minute to landing, less than 1 minute to touchdown at White Sands, New Mexico. Starliner floating smoothly and softly under 3 main parachutes.
Just 300 meters left to go. That's 984 feet. Very close now.
20 seconds. 20 seconds to landing the first Starliner flight test vehicle. And Starliner touches down in the desert in New Mexico. An historic landing in White Sands, New Mexico concludes the first flight test of Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. The first time an American-made, human-rated capsule has landed on land.
That took place right at 6:58 a.m. Central Time, 2 days, 1 hour, and 21 minutes into Starliner's mission. Congratulations, Starliner.
Congratulations, indeed. Flawless flight back to Earth. Good landing this morning. Now the spotlight's going to shift a little bit to the landing recovery team waiting for it out there in New Mexico. They have to wait for clearance before they start heading over to the vehicle, but Starliner has touched down at White Sands successfully this morning. Main chutes are jettisoned.
That'll keep those chutes from pulling Starliner away as the landing recovery team is looking to make their way toward it. Once again, today's landing time was 6:58 a.m. Central Time or 5:58 a.m. Mountain Time local for Starliner. That again was 2 days, 1 hour, and 21 minutes into Starliner's historic orbital flight test.
And Starliner systems have switched to ground mode. Right now, that means the vehicle is taking the steps it needs. Mission Control remains in command of the vehicle. We will soon see the landing recovery team head out. And we're going now to Boeing's Josh Barrett out with the landing recovery team. Josh, it was a beautiful landing from here. I can only imagine how it is from there.
Live, Josh. Go.
Steve, it was a beautiful landing from here. We had a spotlight on the ground. We could actually see some of those ordnance fires up in the upper atmosphere when that forward heat shield was deploying. We could see the strobing light on the vehicle all the way down, and then when those parachutes deployed in the spotlight, it looked almost ghostly as it drifted down and touched down at 5:58 here. As you can see, we are moving in the convoy right now. We've got our H2, which is actually the connection that I'm talking to you guys back from right now, right in front of us. Our recovery operations leader, we call him Roll. He's in contact with the recovery operations coordinator. That's rock and roll for you. They are leading us out to the crew module. I can actually see it strobing out in the distance on the horizon. We have the GPS coordinates locked in. That strobe is still going on, so we're just going to follow that all the way into the crew module. And then once again, Gold Team will be the first to approach the vehicle. We heard the radio call that there's no hazardous conditions for the LRT, that's the landing and recovery team. But we still want to make sure that everything is safe before the teams get around the vehicle. So again, Gold Team is going to approach the vehicle, sniff out, make sure there's no residual hydrazine on the outside or there's no propellant leaks. Silver Team is going to go in and discharge the vehicle, and then Green Team is going to go in and start getting that environmental closure around the vehicle and get some ground heating to it because it's so cold. We want to make sure those propellant lines don't freeze. And then the red team moves in, gets access to the hatch, and then I think we'll probably wrap up this broadcast right around hatch closer. When there's crew members in there, obviously we'll stick around until everybody's out, but you know, today getting that hatch open and getting access to the interior is really the final big milestone for the landing and recovery team. You know, over to our east, we're starting to see the sun come up, so hopefully we'll have a little better lighting for you as we get into these operations, but you know, just a great feeling out here, hearing crew module touchdown on the radios just gave everyone here chills. There was a lot of cheers. Very happy team, and they're ready to rock. So back to you guys, Steve.
Thank you, Josh. So great to hear that. Richard Jones, flight director here at Mission Control, said that looks like it's going to be a smooth ride for CFT, judging by how softly and smoothly this OFT vehicle, this orbital flight test vehicle, came down this morning.
I'm sure the astronauts on their way to see it will get their assessments as well. Hopefully, be just as enthusiastic as that. I know they're excited to be there. Just a reminder, we've got a lot of work left for this team here in the room, but in just a little while we will be going to a post-landing news conference. That's going to be at 9 a.m. Central Time. So we've still got a couple of hours to follow along with Starliner activities here on the ground. But we will be hearing from Jim Bridenstine, Jim Chilton, and Steve Stitch at that time. Again, 9 a.m. Central.
And also the landing team there in New Mexico, there in White Sands, reports that, quote, we hit the bullseye. So Starliner came down exactly where it was supposed to, right at White Sands, right where it needed to be. It was a spectacular entry this morning, and of course remarkable images coming down as it we're also getting our first look through the darkness at the Starliner capsule as it sits on the desert floor there in White Sands. This picture is from our landing recovery team as they move out towards the spacecraft. And you heard a little bit earlier from two of our Starliner engineers, Jim May and Tori Wills Pedrati. They are standing by in the studio. Jim and Tori, it looked great from here. New Mexico reports it looked good. I can only imagine the feelings that y'all have experienced this morning.
Thanks, Steve. It has been an absolutely amazing morning. Really trying just to keep it together and not cry on live TV, but it is a fulfillment of 7.5 years of work to see this happen so successfully and make it look so easy. So this is just an absolutely great morning for me.
That's, you know, I feel the same way. You know, we've been training. It's not just us as engineers, but you know, we've put a lot of work into training all of the flight crew and the mission controllers as well. You know, so being able to get them ready for this flight and have them control the vehicle, command the vehicle to come down safely in the desert means good things looking forward for our future crewed missions as well.
Yeah, and Jim, it's such a great synergy between not only the technical systems, right, but also our people systems. We had such great people on console, we've had such great people out in the desert, and then we also have a really great technical vehicle. So like seeing all of these things happen together is because of the team that really made this happen. So it's just excellent to see.
Exactly, the team effort's great.
And for those just joining us, about 8 minutes ago, Starliner touched down on the sands of White Sands, New Mexico at 6:58 a.m. Central Time, 5:58 a.m. local Mountain Time out at White Sands.
Seeing a replay here of that touchdown. Again, everything happened right on time. All the milestones, the heat shield jettisons, the parachutes, deployment, the airbags filling up, everything giving good indications for all of the landing system elements.
A lot of activities, of course, took place. The spacecraft in control of them during that final descent. Tori and Jim, a lot of things for the spacecraft to do, but it went really, really well, it looked like. From your technical knowledge, what do you think?
So I just have to say that heat shield jettison was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. It looked really good from this end. I'm really excited to see some of the more up close images that I'm sure we're going to get from the ground team, and also be able to really dig into the data from the vehicle now that it's back here on Earth. I don't think we could have had a better flight.
Yeah, and the vehicle, we simulate this reentry, especially with the actual flight crews and the mission controllers for the uncrewed flight. But seeing the vehicle nail the bullseye, all of the separation and ordnance events happening exactly when they plan to, means that we've done a really good job of modeling and planning for our flight with our simulations, the way that we train everybody. So seeing that work just as we planned means that we've got a good background moving forward into our future flights.
And just a reminder that here we are about 10 minutes after landing, and the Starliner landing recovery team is making their way out to the spacecraft. We will hear more from Josh Barrett and NASA's Dan Hewitt as they get closer to the spacecraft, coming a little bit later. We are talking right now with Boeing's Tori Wills-Pedrati and Jim May, both engineers in the Starliner systems. You're also seeing some of the replays of Starliner's very successful, very smooth landing this morning in New Mexico. Jim, you have you've both, of course, been working throughout the last couple of days. Jim, when did you first breathe your sigh of relief as you watched it come down this morning?
I don't think I really let myself start deeply breathing until we hit the landing. When the mains came out, that means we're coming down slowly. But you really want to make sure that the vehicle comes down soft and safely, because that means soft and safe for the crew. And so once I hit the ground, I let out a deep sigh, but a happy one.
I mean, this is also just a big moment, right? Because we landed an American capsule on land with an airbag system. That's like the first time anybody has done this. So this is just really exciting to be a part of this.
Right, and us coming down safely on land means that we're going to have the vehicle safe and ready for Sunny Williams to fly on her next mission. That means that we can safely bring back the cargo that we're planning on bringing back from station on the future flights, so we can get the research continuing, immediately after landing.
We're hearing that Richard Jones here in the flight control team has handed authority of the vehicle over to the landing and recovery team. For Tori and Jim, I know that you would probably love to be there. What would you be looking for if you were able to be on site?
So I would probably be in an ATV trying to go pick up my heat shield from somewhere off in the desert. Now it's going to be really important that we pick up parts of the pieces that we jettison, because that's how we're going to base our models going forward, right? We've done a lot of analysis on this vehicle, but it's getting that data and seeing those systems now that we've actually gone through reentry, which is really going to put us in a great place for when crew gets on the vehicle. And
I've been working on the training systems and the simulations that we use to train everybody. So specifically, I'm looking to get some of the flight data recorder data and the data that Rosie the Rocketeer has, so we can take what we've learned from exactly how the vehicle flied and turn that back into a better training product for the future.
And speaking of Rosie the Rocketeer, we were expecting before this that Starliner would be coming down about the speed of an express elevator and a skyscraper. Is that kind of realizing that you're not in the control room, but I mean, is that kind of the way it looked to you? That's the way it seemed to be.
Yes, the landing looked exactly like we had in the simulation. So everything looked great. Nice soft landing for Rosie.
Can't wait to see that data, I'm sure. Looks like we're starting to get some clearer pictures out at the landing site as the teams move in. Again, we've just landed in New Mexico about 13 minutes ago, 6:58 a.m. Central. For those who might just be joining, you missed a lot of the good stuff, but we still got a little bit to show you.
And one of their first tasks will be to put an environmental enclosure around Starliner. We can see the images there. That's the infrared views of the landing recovery team convoy of vehicles heading out to meet Starliner.